Part 19. I Can Break the Dimensional Wall. Author, Zhozhezi Jumiao. Chapter 181. Somewhere in the deep mountains, Inashuk, one of the protagonists, is fighting a giant spider ghost, but the combat power of the giant spider ghost is not what Inashuk can deal with today, and the gap between the two is somewhat obvious. At this time, the battle has reached the final stage. Inashuk cut off both swords, and his head was also grabbed by the spider ghost. Lost. Are you going to die? The spider ghost pinched Inashuk's neck and slowly exerted force, and Inashuk's mouth was oppressed and spit out a lot of blood. At that moment, many memories emerged in Inashuk's mind, memories of his own mother, memories about Tanjiro and Zenitsu. That's it, dead. However, just when Inashuk gave up hope, an extremely fast figure slowly approached here from a faraway place. Swish. With one blow, the giant spider ghost's arm holding onto Inashuk was severed. Inashuk also fell to the ground. What's wrong? Is anyone here? Inashuk raised his head with force, wanting to see who saved him, but then he found that there was no one around him. No, to put it bluntly, a strange blue cat with clothes appeared in front of him. Cat? What's going on? Tom turned his back to Inashuk, looking at the giant spider ghost, and that giant spider ghost seemed to be a type with insufficient thinking ability, and he didn't have any violent reaction to the cat, but his recovery ability was extremely strong, and he was cut off by Tom just now. The arm has regenerated. Roar. The spider ghost roared, and quickly ran towards Tom, who had just hurt him. So fast. Seeing this scene, Inashuk couldn't help but whispered. The spider ghost is very fast, but it's a pity that Tom's speed is even faster. I saw Tom disappearing in place without warning, and the next moment, Tom appeared behind the spider ghost, as if seamlessly connected, and the spider ghost also stopped its movements. Slap. Soon, the spider ghost's body was torn apart and fell to the ground. It seemed that at that moment, Tom made a lot of knives, but he couldn't even see the knives. Inashuk watched Tom's movements and froze in place. What's the matter with this cat? This is the first time I've seen such a cat. Is it a god in the mountains? Tom glanced at Inashuk and left directly. Hey, kitty, don't go. Tom went to support Inashuk, while Syaruo ran directly towards Tanjiro's direction. Along the way, Syaruo felt a burning feeling in the wind. Has Tanjiro learned the god of fire, Kagura? Looks like I arrived just in time. When Syaruo arrived, it happened to be the time when Xiaoxianwu's attack was about to attack Tanjiro. Tanjiro looked quite miserable at this time, he looked exhausted and couldn't move his body. If it continues, it is estimated that it will be killed by Xiaoxianwu. Syaruo immediately made a move at a critical moment, cutting off Xiaoxiango's spider thread, saving Tanjiro's life. Not long ago, Syaruo also got his exclusive Sun Will knife. The Sun Will knife, which is a pillar, has the engraving of killing evil spirits. With the Sun Will knife, he no longer uses the wooden knife. Accompanied by splashes and ripples, Syaruo appeared in front of Tanjiro. Mr. Syaruo. Tanjiro recognized Syaruo immediately. After all, the two had been eating and practicing together before. It's all right, leave it to me, Syaruo said with a reassuring meaning in it. Hearing this voice, Nezuko glanced at Syaruo curiously. However, an angry voice came from not far away. One by one, there is no end to it, it will only hinder my garbage. Xiaoxianwu's attack was blocked by Syaruo, and he was quite annoyed. Before he was beheaded by Tanjiro, he was very upset, but now he was stopped again. Thinking of this, Xiaoxianwu's hand began to spin, turning into a bright color. Blood red. Blood ghost art, engraved rotation. The blood-red spider threads condensed into a circular wall and attacked in the direction of Syaruo. As long as they touched those blood-red spider threads, ordinary steel would be cut off. Syaruo stood there still motionless, the knife in her hand slightly touched the ground. Water breathing 11, Nagi. The waves around him surged, turned into huge waves, and quickly returned to calm, as if the lake under their feet had turned into a mirror, and the spider silk attack just like a storm was completely chopped off before reaching Syaruo's body. It became a broken thread. Nagi, the strongest defensive sword style. The 11th shape of water breathing is simply a divine skill, a nearly perfect defensive sword move. This move is completely different from the previous 10 moves. When it is used, it is not like a sword move performed by humans at all. Yi Yang is really a genius. He can create such a move by himself. It is said to be the sum of the previous 10 moves. Unless this move is broken violently like Shangxian-san, there is no violence in front of Syaruo's reality power. The combination of the two is the real invincible defense. What happened? What the hell did you do? The bottom 5 seems to be unable to accept this fact. Not one hit, why, all the spider silks were cut off within his attack range, obviously my strongest spider silk. It's over. Syaruo slowly walked in front of Xiaoxianwu, and chopped off his head with a single blow. Between the bottom string and the column, the gap is too great. Mr. Syaruo, Tanjiro shouted excitedly seeing Syaruo's victory. Tanjiro, long time no see, Syaruo put away the knife, a smile hung on the corner of her mouth, and glanced at Nezuko next to Tanjiro. Is your sister awake? Congratulations, she didn't wake up when I was here before. Well, Nezuko just woke up not long ago. Tanjiro looked at Nezuko next to him. Nezuko was injured just now because of being attacked, and now she barely recovered. Nezuko, this is Mr. Natsura. I practiced with me before, but you were asleep at the time so I didn't know. Tanjiro began to introduce Natsura to Nezuko. Hello, Syaruo stretched out her hand to shake hands with Nezuko. Nezuko didn't know how much she had recovered, so she shook hands with Syaruo foolishly. Your sister is so cute, Tanjiro, Syaruo praised. Nezuko was also a beauty in our local area back then, so she was naturally good-looking. Tanjiro easily accepted Syaruo's compliment. Thanks to Mr. Syaruo this time. If it wasn't for you, I think Nezuko and I would have met each other this time. It's dangerous. It's no big deal. By the way, Tanjiro, how are you hurt? Can you stand up? Syaruo wanted to help Tanjiro up, but now Tanjiro was still lying on the ground. Thank you. With Syaruo's help, Tanjiro slowly stood up from the ground, but at this moment, Syaruo seemed to feel something, as if there were many illusions of butterflies around him. Coming. Syaruo whispered. What's coming? Tanjiro didn't understand what Syaruo said. Syaruo didn't answer Tanjiro's question, but stepped forward and stood in front of Tanjiro, holding her hand on the handle of the knife. Swish. Clang. Syaruo's precise sword blocked Butterfly Shinobi's sword, causing Butterfly Shinobi's attack to return in vain. Just when Syaruo was supporting Tanjiro, Butterfly Shinobu suddenly jumped out of the shadows, wanting to attack Nezuko. After the attack was blocked, Butterfly Shinobi circled in the air and landed on the ground. Why do you want to stop me? Mr. Syaruo, you clearly said before that ghosts and people can't get along well. Dai Ren looked at Syaruo with a smile on her face. Although she was still smiling, her tone seemed to be a little angry. Soon, she noticed Nezuko's face. After seeing Nezuko's face, Butterfly Shinobu seemed to understand something, and her smile became even bigger. It turns out that this ghost is a cute little girl. No wonder. That makes sense. It's really you. Syaruo. Butterfly's smile and tone at this time made Syaruo feel a little scary. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 182. Butterfly Shinobu was angry, really angry. She just went to rescue a yellow-haired child who was poisoned. After saving someone, she started to save other people non-stop, and killed a female ghost in the middle. The Lord speculates that there are 12 ghost moons here, but Dai Ninja is not sure whether it is winding up or winding down. Winding up is still too dangerous, so Dai Ninja is still a little worried about Sioruo's safety, so her pace has not stopped. But when she found Sioruo, she found that there was a ghost beside Sioruo, but Sioruo didn't show any vigilance. At first, she thought that the other party used some kind of blood ghost technique, but Sioruo didn't notice, so she couldn't help but want to deal with that ghost first. But what she didn't expect was that Sioruo blocked her attack. Sure enough, that guy knew the existence of that ghost from the very beginning, but he actually dared to cover up the ghost blatantly, which was against the team rules. And it also shelters a beautiful and lovely ghost. Sure enough, that bastard can't walk when he meets a pretty girl, even ghosts. That's a ghost, it can be done. Thinking of Sioruo's previous deeds, Dai couldn't bear to be angry. Anyway, this guy is such a person. Butterfly Shinobu understood something in the last mission. Butterfly Shinobi was most angry that he was obviously worried about him, but this guy only had cute girls in his mind. Under the moonlit night, Sioruo and Butterfly faced each other holding their knives. I think there may be a misunderstanding between us, Sioruo thought for a while, and then choked out such a sentence. Okay, Butterfly smiled and nodded, since it's a misunderstanding, then get out of the way, let me kill that ghost, let me kill her, and the misunderstanding between us can be resolved. A gust of wind blows the fallen leaves around, and this weird atmosphere is a bit like a wife catching a little girl. No, Sioruo refused. Nezuko can be regarded as the heroine of Ghost Slayer, and she has indeed done nothing bad. Naturally, Sioruo can't let Dai Ninja kill her by mistake. Sure enough, you still have your eyes on that ghost. Butterfly Ninja pointed at Sioruo with his sword. Sioruo. Don't talk, are you thinking of some excuse? Butterfly Ren's tone contained a trace of hatred. It's obvious that you are the pillar of the ghost-killing team, but you have such a strange interest in female ghosts. Is it exciting? If you like women, why can't you find a human girl? Sioruo. He doesn't know how to explain it now. Human prejudice is a mountain. Now Dai Ren misunderstands that she is a scumbag, so she can't listen to some things. Mr. Sioruo, Tanjiro looked at Sioruo worriedly, knowing that Sioruo was misunderstood by the girl in front of him, so Tanjiro shouted at Butterfly Shinobi. This ghost is my sister. Mr. Sioruo and I used to know each other, so he actually wants to protect my sister. You misunderstood him. Tanjiro's words were very sincere, as if he hoped that the girl in front of him could understand, but Tanjiro obviously thought too much. Is that so? Butterfly Shinobu glanced at Tanjiro, realizing that he was also a member of the Demon Slayer squad, so she put her hand to her mouth. Little brother, it's really pitiful that your sister has turned into a ghost, but a ghost is a ghost, why don't you let me kill her with gentle poison? But, Nezuko has never eaten a human being, Tanjiro continued to explain. Even after hearing the explanation that she had never eaten a human being, the expression on Butterfly Shinobi's face remained unchanged. You should know that a human being who becomes a ghost is no longer a human being in this case. It's better to kill her directly and let her reduce the pain. She has never eaten people, but she is a ghost. As long as you don't kill her, she will eat people one day. But, Tanjiro wanted to explain something. Butterfly Shinobi no longer intends to explain to Tanjiro. Butterfly Shinobu knows that if he wants to kill this ghost, it mainly depends on Sioruo's attitude. Mr. Sioruo, I'm going to start killing ghosts. I hope you don't stop me. After all, what you are doing now is against team rules. You are not my opponent, Sioruo shook her head. At this moment, Tom didn't know when he appeared on the tree beside him. Then give it a try. Butterfly Shinobu made a move, and her target was still Nezuko. At this moment, Nezuko was biting the bamboo tube in her mouth, staring blankly at Butterfly Shinobi, who was approaching quickly. Clang! Once again, Syaruo appeared in front of Dai Ren and blocked her attack. "I knew it, bastard." Being blocked twice in a row, Butterfly gritted her teeth and continued to attack. This time the target was not Nezuko, but Syaruo. She wanted to hack this scumbag to death right now. To actually do it with himself for a ghost, he really misjudged the person. Syaruo also noticed this, but Butterfly Ninja was just purely angry at this time, and didn't use any sword style, just ordinary attacks and slashing, just to vent, and the moves were full of flaws. Syaruo found an opportunity, and then grabbed Butterfly Ninja's wrist. Butterfly Ninja's strength was very small, and she was controlled by Syaruo at once, and then Syaruo controlled her waist. Unlike Yiyang, Syaruo controlled Butterfly Ninja's head in front of her. In this posture, Syaruo can see Butterfly Shinobi's head as soon as she lowers her head. "What are you doing? Let me go." Dai Ren struggled vigorously under Syaruo's control, but her strength was too weak to struggle at all, and this posture was too intimate, which made Dai Ren blush a little. "Don't be angry, Nezuko is different from other ghosts. She has escaped Wumi's control now, maybe it will be of great use to us in dealing with Wumi in the future, and she has never hurt anyone. Now that Butterfly Ren is under control, Syaruo can explain, don't you believe me?" At this time, the two were almost stuck together. Dainin turned his head away from looking at Syaruo's face, but got closer, and could feel Syaruo's body temperature. Dainin found that his heart beat a little faster. Butterfly Ren couldn't really lose her mind because of anger. After being caught by Syaruo, she calmed down a little. In fact, she also felt that Syaruo didn't need to protect a female ghost like this. Now hearing Syaruo's explanation, combined with what the little brother said just now, Dai finally believed Syaruo's explanation. Thinking of this, Dai Ren breathed a sigh of relief. As long as she didn't protect the female ghost for no reason, she would still accept it. For these reasons, Tanjiro and I were studying the breath of water with Mr. Lintaki at the time. We have a good relationship. Nezuko is his sister. It is impossible for me to take action against his sister, Syaruo replied. Unlike Yiyang, Butterfly Ninja can understand the reasons Syaruo gave. Didn't you really see the cuteness of the little girl, and then you became interested in it? Dai continued to ask. How is it possible? Who do you think I am? Syaruo shook her head quickly. Having said that, Syaruo paused for a moment, lowered her head and whispered in Butterfly Ninja's ear, if you really want to see sex, I think the target I choose must be Miss Ninja. After all, you are the #1 beauty in the ghost killing team. Dai Ren had watched Syaruo's attack on Fallen G before, so she had a little resistance to Syaruo's tricks, but even if she had resistance, Dai Ren was very useful when she heard these words. Slowly, Butterfly Shinobu's complexion improved a lot. Noticing this, Syaruo breathed a sigh of relief. She was finally coaxed. It was really not easy. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 183. Order. Order. Just when Syaruo breathed a sigh of relief because Butterfly Ren calmed down, a crow that delivered orders flew not far away. Command. Bring Tanjiro and Nezuko back to the headquarters. Bring Tanjiro and Nezuko back to the headquarters. The crow yelled the order over and over again. Upon hearing the order, Syaruo let go of the hand that bound Butterfly Ninja. It seems that the Lord already knows what's going on here. Let's take them back and let the Lord judge. Well, then take them back. Since it was the Master's order, Butterfly Shinobi didn't say anything. There was no more crisis. Syaruo walked up to Tanjiro and looked at his injuries. How is it? Is the injury serious? My injury is okay, Mr. Syaruo, thank you this time, Tanjiro said gratefully. He took everything that Syaruo helped him just now, whether it was saving his life before or just now. Protect him and Nezuko. To be honest, Tanjiro didn't know how to thank him anymore. It's good that you're fine. When we get to the headquarters, there may be some disturbances, but it's fine. I'll help you, Syaruo said with a smile. Thank you so much, Tanjiro thanked again. Nothing. Not long after, a member of Yin came to carry the seriously injured Tanjiro on his back. Because the members of Yin were all masked, Syaruo couldn't see his face clearly, but listening to the voice, it seemed that he had brought him the one from Ghost Slayer. Not only that, Syaruo also saw Murata, who had changed his clothes. Some time ago, Murata seemed to be on a mission, but Syaruo didn't even see him. Mr. Murata, long time no see, Syaruo greeted Murata. Syaruo, no, I'm going to be called Syaruo-sama now, Murata touched his head with some embarrassment. The last time we met, the other party hadn't joined the ghost-killing team. When we met again, the other party had already become a pillar. How long has it been? A month. Mr. Murata, it's great that you're fine. If I'm not mistaken, the first batch of ghost killers who came to Nation Spider Mountain should have all died in battle, and only Mr. Murata was unscathed, Syaruo said in surprise. Looking at Murata's body. It's just luck, thanks to Shinobu-sama's timely rescue, Murata rubbed his head, not knowing what to do. Luck, good luck is talent. After that, Syaruo chatted with Murata for a while, and then everyone returned to the headquarters. It didn't take too long during the period. In the morning, Syaruo had already brought Tanjiro to the headquarters. Because Syaruo took care of him along the way, Tanjiro was not treated too roughly, and he also took medicine, so consciousness always sober. But, on the way, Butterfly Ninja remembered something and told Syaruo that today happened to be the semi-annual zoo meeting. When Syaruo arrived at the headquarters, there were already 6 pillars standing beside Butterfly Ninja in the gathering space, the snake pillar was on the tree, and the wind pillar seemed to have not arrived yet. However, they all seemed to know that Tanjiro was carrying a ghost, so they glanced at Tanjiro, who was carrying Syaruo. Their eyes only stayed on Tanjiro for a while, and then they turned their eyes on Syaruo and Tom on Syaruo's shoulder. After all, for them, the news that the ghost-killing team has added 2 pillars in a short period of time is more important. Is this the young man who killed Shang Xian and became Zhu? He is really young and promising, and it is also a great increase in combat power for the ghost-killing team, Yanzu Purgatory Scene Xiaolang said solemnly. Is it the winding ghost that I found in Yoshiwara Flower Street? What a mistake. Actually, I also suspected that place, but I just didn't have time to investigate it carefully. It seems that you have good luck, Yinzuyumo Tianyuan said slightly gorgeously. It is his style to speak with flamboyance. Hey, has no one noticed the cute cat? I heard that there is a cute cat in the newly added column, and it is as cute as the rumors. Lian Zugan Miri stared at Tom on Syaruo's shoulder and thought, she didn't have the nerve to say it directly. Everything has spirituality, even a kitten can exorcise ghosts, it's really a psychic cat, Yanzu said in tears, clasping his palms together. On the snake pillar on the tree, Ihei focused all her attention on Tom, that cat named Tom. I heard that undead Chuan suffered a lot. It is really not easy. With undead Chuans, his temper can make him suffer so much that he dare not retaliate. To be honest, it is a bit scary. What does the shape of that cloud look like? By Syazushi Tuichiro. Yoshiyuki Tomioka. These columns are really quite individual. Syaruo didn't speak either, just stood there quietly, waiting for the arrival of the Lord, except for Butterfly Ninja and Yi Yang. it was the first time seeing other zoo Syaruo around. After all, the zoo meeting only held once every 6 months. He actually wanted to go up to say hello, but the current atmosphere is not quite right. The eyes of the pillars are not only looking at himself, but also looking at Tanjiro next to him. During the period, Fengju also appeared, but it was different from the original book. Syaruo put Nezuko's box behind her to protect it, so Fengju didn't get the box. After Fengju arrived at the scene, he kept staring at Tom viciously. Even Tanjiro didn't look at it, as if there was some deep hatred. From the looks of it, he was taught a lot by Tom. By the way, what about the boy next to him? I heard that he protected ghosts, Lian Zuganlusi asked suddenly. Kill it? Nothing to say, kill it. The guardian ghost has nothing to say. I also agree to kill it, even killing the ghost he protected. When it comes to Tanjiro, the pillars are pretty unified. Nezuko has never eaten people. Tanjiro heard that they were going to hurt Nezuko, and immediately began to defend his sister. It's just that those pillars all have a deep hatred against ghosts, so naturally they don't listen to Tanjiro's words. During the long process of killing ghosts, their thinking has been fixed. Lie, your sister is your relative, so you will naturally protect your relative. What you say is unbelievable, and I won't believe it anyway. Snake Zoo was the first to raise doubts. Ah, it's possessed by a ghost, hurry up and free this child, Yanzu said with tears in his eyes, but he wanted to save Tanjiro directly. Tanjiro is still defending. I became a swordsman because of Nezuko, just to find a way to save Nezuko, and Nezuko hasn't eaten anyone for 2 years. Even if your sister has never eaten people, but now she is a ghost, there is no guarantee that she will not eat people in the future. If she eats people, the dead life will not be resurrected, so I think it is better to kill her good. Onazu looked at Tanjiro, without any pity in his tone. Looking at the indifferent eyes around him, Tanjiro's body was a little cold, and he was a little at a loss now. Unlike Mr. Syaruo, these pillars didn't believe him at all. People here only know about killing ghosts. Tanjiro didn't know how to convince them that Nezuko would not eat people. He knew that if he couldn't do this, he and Nezuko would die here. At this moment, Syaruo suddenly stood up and stood in front of Tanjiro. I practiced with Tanjiro, so I also know about Nezuko. Mr. Lintaki also told me that Nezuko has not eaten people for 2 years. I believe that Nezuko is a non-cannibal ghost. Mr. Syaruo. Tanjiro didn't expect that Syaruo could still stand up to help him in this situation, and he also knew how difficult it was for Syaruo to be able to speak for himself now. Syaruo nodded slightly to Tanjiro, indicating that he was fine. There is no way, Yoshiyuki doesn't know how to speak, and now no one supports Tanjiro, so he can only come out to support him. No matter how you say it, you can be regarded as an acquaintance. The friends who practiced and ate together, if Xia is not a heartless person, naturally he can't see it. Seeing Tanjiro suffer alone like this, no matter what, he should share some of it. Syaruo, what are you talking about? Seeing Syaruo stand up, Butterfly frowned. In this situation where everyone did not approve, Syaruo chose to support Tanjiro. I really don't understand what he was thinking. It's a little too unwise to stand on the opposite side of other pillars, even though he has just become a pillar. Butterfly can't help feeling that Syaruo is not such an irrational person. After Syaruo said that, the atmosphere changed a bit. The other zoo also turned their eyes back to Syaruo. Tanjiro was an ordinary team member, and they didn't care, but Syaruo was a zoo, so it was a bit bad to protect ghosts like this, especially a zoo who had just won the title. Perhaps what you said is true, she has never harmed humans before, but who can guarantee that she will not eat humans in the future? The ghost killing team, what they do is killing ghosts. If we don't kill ghosts when we see them, are we still ghost killing teams? With such naive thoughts, how did you become a pillar? Fengju Immortal Chuan said in a cold tone as he set his eyes on Xiaoruo. It seemed that Xiaoruo's words had offended him, and what Bushichuan said also questioned whether Xiaoruo had the qualifications to become Zhu. I became Zhu because I killed Shangxian Ghost, which complied with the requirements of the ghost killing team to become Zhu. What I killed was a man-eating ghost, not a child who had restrained his desire to eat people for 2 years, said Feng Zhu after being so angry. Xiaoruo was still not in a hurry, but what she said was unexpectedly sharp. If you don't know how to think and only know how to kill ghosts blindly, you may lose your humanity in the end. You mean I've lost my humanity? The eyes of Fengju Undead River became more and more terrifying. You are just a rookie who just joined the demon killing squad. Together with Butterfly Ninja, with the help of the cat on your body, you got the title of Zhu after killing the weakest one. You think that being a Zhu is your capital to expand, is it? The sum of the ghosts you have killed is probably not a fraction of mine, kid. Xiaoruo frowned. The other party was already provocative, so how could she not respond? Since you think I can't do it, how about making a bet? What are you going to bet with me? Undead Chuan raised his eyebrows. He didn't expect that the kid in front of him wanted to bet with him. He was a little curious about what this guy could bet on. I'm not betting with you, I'm betting with all of you. Xiaoruo glanced at the 9 pillars around her. Since no one has killed Shangxian in 113 years, this shows the strength and difficulty of Shangxian, and it also shows that all of you have no experience of defeating Shangxian, so I will bet with you that within 3 weeks, I will kill a top string that ranks within 3 weeks. 3 weeks. The winding ghost. Hiss. Zhu around heard Xiaoruo's bet, and couldn't help but widen their eyes. Even people like Shitamuchiro moved their eyes away from the clouds in the sky and looked at the standing there. Xiaoruo. They did not fight against Shangxian, nor did they kill a Shangxian. However, Shangxian's strength is definitely recognized as far surpassing Zhu. Even Butterfly Shinobi once said that a Shangxian needs 3 pillars to defeat it. As for finding the location of Shangxian, it is more difficult than killing Shangxian. Xiaoruo's the bet, the rest of Zhu did not know how Xiaoruo thought of it. It's like a joke. Are you sure it's 3 weeks, not 3 years? Undead Chuan looked at Xiaoruo, and when he heard the number, he also regained his composure. That's right. Undead Chuan stared at Xiaoruo. What's the bet? Xiaoruo turned her head and glanced at the boxes of Tanjiro and Nezuko. During the betting period, I hope you can pay attention to Nezuko and see if she can control her desire to eat people. If Nezuko can't restrain herself, it means she is a ghost. You can kill her. If she really I have controlled her desire to eat people, I hope you can recognize Nezuko. Xiaoruo didn't say what it would be like if he won, for example, let Nezuko go if he won, but said that he hoped to give these pillars a 3-week time to observe Nezuko. This method is not to force them to recognize Nezuko, but it is to let them slowly recognize themselves. This is also the best way to accept it, because at the end of the manga, all the pillars recognized Nezuko with the passage of time. Humph, you are still covering up this ghost, stupid, do you really think that ghosts can restrain their desires? Although Bushikawa said so, Nezuko seemed insignificant in front of Kamaizuru who was killed in the bet. What if you lose the bet? If I don't complete the bet, I, and Tom, will give up the title of Zhu together, and will never inherit the title of Zhu again, Xiaoruo said looking at Undead Chuan. Meow. Tom was originally watching a play on it, but he didn't know why he was suddenly represented. Undead Chuan looked at Xiaoruo's face, and didn't know what he was thinking in his eyes. Okay, I'll accept the bet. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 184. Not only Fengju Undead River, but the rest of Zhu also cared about this bet, because the title of Shangxian was like a heavy mountain in front of Zhu. As Zhu, ordinary ghosts don't care about it at all, only Shangxian and Guiwu Tsuji Wu will be cared by them. Over the years, countless Zhu died in the battle with Shangxian, but they have nothing to do with Shangxian. After the bet was accepted, the Lord arrived slowly. Yuya Yabayashiki seems to be late because of physical problems. After coming, he proposed that he recognized Tanjiro and Nezuko as in the original work, and hoped that other pillars could also agree. Originally, Yuya Yabayashiki thought that there would be many voices of opposition, and even prepared a letter from Mr. Renaki to deal with this situation, as well as some words of opposition from the pillars, but none of these were used. The pillars seemed to accept it easily, and Fushikawa personally put forward his observations on Nezuko. If Nezuko cannibalized people, he would do it himself. The progress of the matter was a bit too smooth. Because of Syaruo's participation, although the process is different from the original work, the result is still the same. Nezuko was accepted by the ghost-killing team, but there were a lot of bloody scenes where Nezuko was stabbed, and the process was milder. After Tanjiro was accepted because of his injuries, he took Nezuko and sent them to Butterfly House for treatment, while Syaruo continued to participate in the zoo meeting. After the meeting ended, Butterfly Ninja immediately approached Syaruo. "What happened to your bet just now? How could you be so impulsive?" Dai Dai Ren looked at Syaruo, seeming to be very concerned about this matter. "Did you make this bet because you found information about the location of Shangxian ghost?" Syaruo nodded. "I do have a clue about the location of the winding." Knowing that Syaruo had a clue, Dai Dai heaved a sigh of relief. "Sure enough, I knew you weren't that impulsive. As long as there are clues and plans, it's easy to say." She was really worried that Syaruo was acting impulsively just now, but now it seems that Syaruo has her own plan in mind. During the bet, Zhu, who was present at the time, also guessed that Syaruo might have the news of winding. Otherwise, he would not be able to make a bet so confidently. The pillars admire Syaruo's ability to find out the location information of Shangxian, which they have not been able to do for many years. "By the way, where did you get the information?" Butterfly asked curiously. "Maybe it's because I have traveled to many places and experienced a lot," Syaruo said vaguely. "If you don't want to say it, forget it." Dai Dai couldn't bear to see that Syaruo didn't want to tell herself, so she didn't ask. Butterfly Ninja actually knows what Syaruo is doing recently. At most, she went out to do a few missions, and suddenly found out the position of a winding string. Maybe the female ghost who wound up the sixth told him. After all, Butterfly Ninja was at the scene at that time. At that scene, Fernji Huaqui was deluded by Syaruo. After she left, it was normal for that female ghost to tell some secrets. Syaruo didn't know that Butterfly Ren had already figured out the source of the information in his mind. He has actually read the comics and knows all the abilities of Shangxian Ghost. However, about the location of Shangxian Ghost, the manga did not clearly state it. In the manga plot, there are Shangxian-san who will come from the Infinite Train chapter, and Shangxian-san who will appear in the Forging Knife Village chapter. It is just a distance. There is still some time for the Infinite Train chapter and the Forging Knife Village chapter. 3 weeks is too short a time to wait for them to appear. Therefore, Syaruo's goal this time is not the first string 3 of the Infinite Train chapter, but the second string, Tong Mo. Tong Mo, the leader of the Eternal Bliss sect. A cruel evil spirit who does many evils and is extremely powerful. He only likes to eat women, and he is also the murderer who killed Butterfly Ninja's sister, causing Butterfly Ninja to bear a heavy hatred. If there is a ghost that Dai Dai Ren hates the most, it must be Tong Mo. Even Dai Dai Ren would kill him in the original work. But this time, Syaruo is going to give Dai Dai Ren a big gift, and ask her to avenge herself. The killing of Tong Mo was planned by Syaruo a long time ago. After all, Tong Mo is the leader of the Bliss sect, so it is more convenient to find him. Tongmo is Syaruo's gift for Butterfly Shinobu, because it is almost the death day of Butterfly Shinobi's sister, so Xiaoruo is going to do it in these few days. The Tanjiro incident and the bet are just coincidences. Butterfly Ren naturally doesn't know what Xiaoruo thinks. She is still giving Xiaoruo an idea at this time. We can tell the Lord the clues, and by the way, we can ask Mr. Yanzu for help. I think we can find some helpers to deal with Shangxian. When you made the bet, you only said that it would be within 3 weeks. Killing Shangxian didn't say that you can't find helpers. Xiaoruo glanced at Butterfly Ninja sideways, but Xiaoruo's eyes were a little strange, and Butterfly Ninja was a little at a loss. What are you staring at me for? Being stared at by Xiaoruo, Butterfly Ninja looked away instead. It's nothing, just help me with this mission, everyone else is a burden, Xiaoruo said calmly, but he didn't say the reason. Huh? Just need me to help you? Butterfly Shinobi seemed to want to make sure he had heard correctly. Yes, only you are needed, Xiaoruo said seriously, looking into Dai Dai Ren's eyes. Dai Dai Ren always felt that there was something hidden in Xiaoruo's words, as if something was hiding from her, but Xiaoruo asked her to help. Dai Dai Ren did not refuse, she still believed in Xiaoruo. Okay, I can help you, it's just that 3 weeks is a bit urgent. When should we start? It's time to start acting now. So fast, where are you going? Eternal Bliss Teaching. Hearing this name, Butterfly Ren was a little puzzled, she had never heard of the name of this sect. Huh? The Eternal Bliss Sect, what kind of place is this? At this time, Shangxian Ertong Mill is in the Infinite City. Because of the death of Shangxian Lu, Wu Mi gathered all Shangxian together and started the Shangxian meeting. In this meeting, Wu In stood on the stage wearing a female attire, and her body was completely transformed into a female, like a gorgeous woman in a kimono. Tong Mo is a very cheerful person, with white oak hair color, colorful eyes, and a carefree smile on his head as if splashed with blood. After he came, he kept staring at Wu Mimen. Master Wu is so beautiful today, Tong Mo said, looking at Wu standing above, as if he had never seen Wu in women's clothing before. Wu Mi just glanced sideways at Tong Mo, and didn't have any emotional changes because of Tong Mo's praise. Tong Mo also noticed that there was a large pool of blood in the center of Infinite City, as if some tragedy happened here just now. What happened here just now? Did someone offend Lord Wu Mi? The fifth of the lower strings is dead, so Lord Wu Mi just cleaned up some useless lower strings here, explained the space ghost Peepa girl on the side. Oh, Xiaxian, they are all seeds with potential, but their strength is a little weaker, so it's really sad to die like this. Tong Mo seemed to be sad because of Xiaxian's death. It's just that he has no human emotions at all, and his sad movements are just acting. However, it seems that the number of people coming to Shangxian is not uniform. The Shangxian meeting has not been held for 113 years. Now that the Shangxian meeting is held, it means that there are also Shangxian who have been killed, said an old man who looked like a landfather. Said, just from his eyes can know that he is the fourth of the winding. The prostitute Taro and fallen princess have been killed, they are really useless guys, no wonder they are the weakest, said Shangxian Wu disdainfully. Enough. Wu Mi glanced at the surrounding winding with indifferent eyes. You are also a bunch of useless things. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Zhumiao. Chapter 185. It has been 113 years since the winding meeting has been held, but in such a rare winding meeting, there is nothing in the content. Wu Mi started this meeting, on the one hand, because of the death of Shangxian Lu, reprimanding Shangxian Lu for his incompetence, and needed to find a substitute. On the other hand, because Wu Mi was angry, he called the Shangxian Lu out to scold them. Scolding them for not being able to find the blue flower of the other side for so long, and for so long not being able to find the headquarters of the Ghost Slayer squad. For the boss's anger, Shangxian could only apologize helplessly, saying that they were incompetent. After scolding for a while, the misfortune disappeared a lot, and he looked at his subordinates with indifferent eyes. There is one more thing. You should pay attention to it recently. Now there is a kitten who can use breathing and sword skills in the ghost killing team. If you encounter it, be careful. Wu Mi seems to be reminding the upper strings, but however, Wu Yan didn't even mention Tom's owner, Xiaoruo. It seems that Wu Mi cares more about the unknown cat. Hey, can the kitten use the breathing method? It seems that the ghost killing squad has a lot of new things recently, which are interesting, Tong Amo said in surprise when he heard Wu Mi's words. Since Master Wu mentioned the kitten, it seems that the prostitute Taro and Yuji died at the hands of the kitten, which is really a shameful way of death, Shang Xianwu said with a mocking smile on his face. It's not easy for Mr. Wu Mi to say that. I'm looking forward to the fight with it, Shang Xianyi Heishi Maoduan sat aside, touching the knife in his hand. I hope you don't get killed, Wu Mi couldn't help mocking. Also, if you meet a young man with earrings, you should kill him too. Yes, the crowd answered. In the end, after Wu scolded and felt comfortable, she asked Peepa Girl to send them back. Clang. The Peepa woman's hand moved slightly, accompanied by a Peepa sound, and the next moment, the surrounding strings disappeared. Open your eyes again. Tong Amo returned to his leader's seat. It was a very gorgeous room, surrounded by many religious items. This is the interior of the Bliss cult, and Tong Amo is the leader here. After Tong Amo came back, a believer opened the door and walked in respectfully. Master Patriarch, there are believers here. Is anyone here? It's been a long wait, let her in quickly. By the way, I'll put on my hat first. Tong Amo stretched out his hand, and put the leader's hat on the side. The moment he put it on, Tong Amo seemed to have changed his temperament. Let her in. After saying this, Tong Amo licked his lips. On the way, Dai Dai Ren had been listening to Xiaoruo talking about the Bliss sect of the world. Xiaoruo had already learned some information about the Bliss sect before, so she told Dai Dai Ren very clearly. Eternal Bliss sect, a religion that has been established for hundreds of years, has also been glorious for a while, especially in times of war and disaster. Many refugees and victims will come to the Eternal Bliss sect to seek psychological comfort. The teachings of the Bliss sect are to live in peace and comfort and happiness. There is no need to do hard and painful things. The Eternal Bliss sect promotes such a beautiful world, and this teaching is very attractive to the poor during times of famine. After all, this is not a modern society. In this era, for the poor, living in this world itself is painful. Many people can't bear the hardships of life, so they will believe in the Bliss sect and become believers of the Bliss sect. There is no hope in this life, and they hope that the leader can make them live without pain in the next life, so as to obtain spiritual comfort. There are too many believers, and the leader among them wants to eat people, which is simply unscrupulous. Anyway, those are poor people who have no hope of life, and no one cares if they die. Coupled with Tong Mo's prudence, there are many believers in the Bliss sect, but the number of congregants is very small and low-key, so there have been no bad rumors. You mean, the leader of the Bliss sect is Shang Xiangui, and he has been eating believers in the sect? Dai Dai Ren looked at Xiaoruo and asked. It's like this. In order not to reveal their position, some clever ghosts will use human power or influence when eating people, Xiaoruo explained. It looks like that ghost is very smart. The two walked at such a high speed. The location of the Bliss cult is fixed, and it is not difficult to find the location. After about 2 days, Xiaoruo and Dai Ren arrived within the range of the Bliss cult. The sky at this time is just dark, and it is easy to miss the ghosts during the day, so night is the best opportunity. At night, the building of the Wanchi Bliss sect looks brightly lit, and it seems that there are many believers in it. Sneak right in, Butterfly Shinobu said after taking a look outside. Wait a minute, I have something to tell you in advance, Sioruo glanced at Butterfly Ninja next to her. When she got here, Sioruo could also tell her who she was going to face now, so that Butterfly Ninja could be mentally prepared. The information I got is that the Shangxian ghost in the Eternal Bliss cult likes to eat women the most. Most like to eat women. Hearing this news, Butterfly Ninja's body trembled a bit. She likes to eat women's strings. It is estimated that there is only one person, the murderer who killed her sister. Huh. Butterfly took a deep breath, calmed down his excitement just now, and at the same time gave Sioruo a complicated look. Let's go. Sioruo and Dai Dai Ren slowly sneaked into the bliss cult of Eternal Bliss. Both of them can do it easily. Of course, if they are noticed by the congregation, it is enough to knock out the person who found it. The teaching audience are all human beings. After entering the bliss cult, Butterfly Shinobi seemed to sense the smell of ghosts, and ran in one direction, while Sioruo kept following Butterfly Shinobi. Did you find out so soon? Facing Sioruo's question, Dai Dai Ren didn't answer, but kept running in one direction. Soon, Dai Dai Ren stopped in front of a gate. In front of the gate, Sioruo clearly smelled a strong smell of blood, and it seemed that this was the right place. Butterfly stretched out her hands and pushed open the door in front of her. Inside the door is a very spacious room, so spacious that there is a large pond in the room, and a wooden bridge is built above the pond, and Tong Mo is sitting on the wooden bridge, as if waiting for Sioruo and the others. Tong Mo's mouth was covered with blood, as if he had just finished eating, and beside him were the corpses of 7 or 8 women. Those corpses were all wearing white uniforms, but now they were all stained red with blood. Oh, my name is Tong Mo, we met for the first time, what a great night today, Tong Mo politely greeted Sioruo and Dainin. Tong Mo glanced at Sioruo, then set his gaze on Dai Dai Ren, with a peaceful smile on his face. I have a little impression of the Haori on your body. Last time I seemed to kill a girl who looked very similar to you. Unfortunately, because the sky was about to dawn, I left without eating it. Otherwise, it would be delicious. I like girls who exercise regularly. Hearing this sentence, Butterfly clenched his fists tightly. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 186. Hearing Tong Mo's ridicule, Butterfly gripped the Haori on her body tightly. It was a relic left by her sister, as if her sister was still here. Adjust your emotions, don't be irritated by him, Sioruo said to Butterfly Ninja beside her. I know. Butterfly Shino slowly calmed down, but the look in Tong Mo's eyes still had killing intent. It's amazing, have you adjusted? You are such an important relative, but when you saw your enemy, you suddenly calmed down. She is really a strong little girl. Tong Mo took out her fan and fanned it beside her. Tong Mo's weapons are fans, a pair of metal folding fans. As a ghost, Tong Mo is different from other ghosts. It may be because of his self-confidence in strength. Tong Mo talks a lot of nonsense, likes to attack with words, and doesn't use his full strength when he makes a move. It can be said that he is the worst ghost. In the original work, it is equivalent to the wave died, and he didn't show his full strength in the end. Tong Mo looked at Butterfly Ninja, his eyes were sizing up Butterfly Ninja all the time, but the nonsense in his mouth never stopped. Little girl, I remember that you are the poison envoy of the ghost killing team. I heard Mr. Wumi said about you. Because your strength is too weak, you can't cut off the ghost's head, so you can only use poison. Really hard work. It's so pitiful that I'm still fighting ghosts even if my physical fitness is so low. When Tong Mo spoke, his expression was quite rich. At first it was accidental, and later it turned into sadness. Sure enough, the information between ghosts is interoperable, Dai Ren didn't pay attention to what Tong Emo said, but looked for some other important points in his words. At this time, Tong Emo noticed Tom again, the blue kitten. The ghost killing squad even sent this secret weapon. I thought you two were the only ones sent to die. By the way, the person next to you has no relevant information, an unknown person. Tong Emo glanced at Xiaoruo and smiled. Really? Maybe after today, there should be a legend about me among Shangxian ghosts. Xiaoruo was not angry because she was not mentioned. Ninja, Xiaoruo called Butterfly Ninja for the first time. What's the matter? Butterfly endured hearing Xiaoruo's address, and turned to look at Xiaoruo. I'll go up and fight him in a while, you look for his flaws, and give him the last blow, Xiaoruo said to Dai Ren about her plan. My poison has no effect on winding, Butterfly Shinobu frowned. I know, when the time comes, you don't want to use poison, just use this knife of mine to cut his neck. Xiaoruo handed the wooden knife he had been using to Butterfly Ninja. On the blade of the wooden knife, Xiaoruo instilled his own power of reality. This is a newly researched method of use that he has recently improved his mastery of the power of reality. That is, the power of reality can only last for 5 minutes. Dai Ren took Xiaoruo's wooden knife, and out of trust in him, Dai Ren nodded. She also knew before that Xiaoruo used this wooden knife when the Sun Will knife was not finished. Maybe there is something special about this wooden knife. Hey, you're too contemptuous of people. It's fine to discuss tactics in front of me, but you still have to chop my neck with a wooden knife. Are you dreaming? Tong Emo patted his neck with his iron fan, and grinned. My neck is a bit harder than steel, that little girl can't chop it off even with a Sun Will knife. The neck is the weakness of the ghost, and because it is the weakness, it is also the best place for the ghost to protect. The neck of the string is really much harder than steel. The reason why I discuss tactics in front of you is because I think you will die even if you know the tactics. Oh. Tong Emo raised his eyebrows. Just try and you will find out. After Xiaoruo finished speaking, she stepped directly on the bridge, and in an instant she arrived at a place quite close to Tong Emo. Stepping on special steps, Xiaoruo's Sun Will knife brought a wave and slashed towards Tong Emo. Water breathing 3 types, flowing dance. Wow, so fast. With a smile on Tong Mo's face, he exaggeratedly wowed a few times, but facing Xiaoruo's offensive, he seemed very relaxed. By turning sideways a few times, Tong Emo escaped Xiaoruo's attack. Every movement made Xiaoruo cut empty. After all, he is a top string that has existed for hundreds of years, is powerful, and is second, so his movements appear to be very calm, and he even counterattacked. Blood Ghost Art, Lotus Leaf Ice. Tong Emo swung his fan, and lotus-shaped ice crystals sprayed out from the fan. Seeing the ice crystals shining with cold light, Xiaoruo also escaped Tong Mo's attack. In the blink of an eye, the two exchanged a few moves, and from the scene, neither of them took advantage. It's just that when Tong Emo saw Xiaoruo's actions, he smiled inwardly. Succeeded, the young people of the ghost killing squad are really simple. His blood ghost technique is not as simple as the ice lotus that can be seen. The invisible attack is his real killing move. Tong Mo's blood ghost technique is an ice-type blood ghost technique. In addition to the visible ice lotus, his blood ghost technique also emits a freezing air that is invisible to the naked eye. Those freezing air are not ordinary chills, but the frozen air composed of Tong Mo's own blood has the same effect as poison. After inhaling it, it will slowly freeze the lungs of the inhaler and tear the lungs apart. Judging from the process of fighting just now, the boy did not escape the range of freezing air. He should have inhaled a lot, and with his human body, he should have been hopeless. Sure enough, it was an unknown person, and he solved one easily. Tong Emo thought in this way, and slowly turned his attention to the lazy blue cat in the distance. The kitten mentioned by Mr. Wu Mi is the focus of his attention. Tong Emo paid attention to Tom, But Tom still looked lazy, watching the play from the sidelines. During the battle, what are you distracted by? Noticing that Tong Mo's attention was distracted, Xiaoruo's movements not only did not slow down, but became faster, and gradually added Feng Xin to her body. In a few moments, the distracted Tong Mo was approached by Xiaoruo. Huh? Are you okay? Even though the time for the poisoning had passed, the boy's body didn't become sluggish, and his lungs weren't torn. Tong Mo was a little surprised by this abnormality. However, it was just a surprise. Ice fog is just a small skill in his blood ghost technique. Tong Mo is the most arrogant ghost in the winding. Even if the blood ghost technique doesn't work, he still doesn't care, and even analyzes Xiaoruo's situation at this time. Obviously you have inhaled the freezing air, how can you be fine? Is it because of your physical fitness, did the poison develop late? Or is it that your body is immune? Then your body is too exaggerated. Seeing that Xiaoruo's speed was getting faster and faster, almost cutting him with the sword, Tong Mo was still smiling. What a naive child, forget it, I'll be a little more serious. Tong Mo has never been serious. After he found that Xiaoruo was not as weak as he thought, he felt that he should use another vampire technique. Blood ghost art, Manli and Hua. Several ice vines entwined with ice lotuses appeared in front of Tong Mo out of thin air. After those ice vines appeared, they bound towards Xiaoruo's body. Because Xiaoruo has been in a state of attack, if she continues to attack, she will be entangled by the ice vines that appear in front of her, so if she dodges this attack, she can only retreat and distance herself from the ice vines. Tong Mo thought so too. But Xiaoruo's eyes flashed, she didn't dodge at all, instead of retreating, she continued to swing the knife at Tong Mo, completely ignoring the ice vines that were about to approach her, and directly bumped into the ice and vines. Court death. Tong Mo had a mocking smile on his face. Xiaoruo. Not far away, Butterfly held the wooden knife and watched the scene nervously. Puff. The ice vine made by Tong Mo came into contact with Xiaoruo's body and made a puff sound, but it was not the sound of the ice lotus on the vine tearing the flesh and blood, but the sound of the vine dissipating as if it had touched some nemesis. Those ice vines that looked very dangerous turned into ice flowers and dissipated instantly after touching Xiaoruo's body. After this completely unreasonable situation appeared, the smile on Tong Mo's face gradually disappeared. How is this possible? What is your body made of? For the first time, Tong Mo's face showed a flustered look. His blood ghost technique had never been like this before. It was broken by a human body at the touch of a human body. No wonder he turned pale with fright. At the same time, Xiaoruo's knife was about to hit Tong Mo's head. Although Tong Mo's blood ghost skills are all legal skills, but his own melee ability is not weak, and he immediately blocked it with his steel opponent. Swish. It was supposed to be the sound of steel colliding, but there was no such sound. The iron fan and the sun wheel knife collided, and a very strange sound appeared. The fan made of steel, Tong Mo's weapon that has been used for hundreds of years, was cut away by Xiaoruo's sword like dirt. A big question mark appeared on Tong Mo's head. What kind of monster are you? Tong Mo, who has always been under his control, is completely in chaos. Too many unreasonable things happened, which almost shattered his worldview. Without a weapon in hand, fighting such a weird pillar-level swordsman face to face with bare hands is really courting death. Tong Mo wanted to retreat, but it was already too late. Xiaoruo used Feng Xin to reach the extreme speed, and reached out to grab Tong Mo's arm. Caught you. Along with these words, Xiaoruo used joint skills to fix Tong Mo's hands, preventing him from moving. If you want to kill me, you are still far away. Tong Mo felt the crisis of death in an instant. At this moment, Tong Mo's eyes were blood red, and his hair fell down at some point. He didn't plan to hide any more tricks, and started to use his strongest blood ghost technique. Blood Ghost Technique, Fog Ice, Water Lily Bodhisattva. As soon as the voice fell, the surrounding air turned cold in an instant, the temperature of the huge room plummeted, the lake in the room also froze instantly, and the bridge on the lake was trembling, as if some powerful blood ghost technique was about to descend. Forbearance! Syaruo shouted. Butterfly Ninja would not let go of such a good opportunity. At this moment, Butterfly Ninja seemed to have forgotten the hatred in his mind, and his whole person was extremely calm. She made a drawing motion with the wooden knife. Draw the knife, draw the sword. Butterfly Ninja was just over 10 meters away from the battle. Although it was a bit far away, the distance of more than 10 meters was no different from 1 or 2 meters for a speed-type column like Butterfly Ninja. It was a blink of an eye. Butterfly Ninja burst out at full speed, no slower than Zanai's thunderbolt flash. In an instant, Butterfly Ninja's knife was on Tongmo's neck. Your body is so thin, you want to kill me with a wooden knife. Tongmo looked at Butterfly Ninja in front of him, and still didn't believe that Butterfly Ninja could kill him. Whether it's the wooden knife, or the little girl who can't cut off the ghost's head, but can only use poison, with this combination, even if she cuts her own neck for a day and a night, it will be fine. Tongmo feels that everything they do is in vain. It's just that when he was talking, he slowly found that his vision was changing, as if he was flying up, and then circling in the air. Later, his vision kept turning until Tongmo saw his own headless corpse in his vision. Only then did he realize that his head was flying. No way, I was killed so simply. Up to now, Tongmo seems to be dreaming, completely unresponsive. It was really a bit too sudden. It seemed that less than 10 minutes had passed since the members of the ghost killing squad came in and he was killed. During this period, he spent almost 5 minutes talking. Isn't it, some are too simple. Am I going to be the easiest winder to get killed? It's too embarrassing. When he was dying, Tongmo was still thinking about these boring things. I obviously still have 28 vampire spells that are useless. If they are all used, they are definitely not my opponents. Accompanied by various thoughts, Tongmo's head fell to the ground and rolled several times on the ground. Because his head was cut off, his last blood ghost technique also dissipated. The strongest blood ghost technique disappeared without appearing. Go to hell. Tongmo's body had started to turn into ashes, and his head had also started to disappear, but before it disappeared, Butterfly Shinobi suddenly appeared and kicked Tongmo to the wall. Just like playing football, Tongmo's head disappeared completely after several kicks in a row, but when it disappeared, Tongmo's face was completely bruised and swollen, with nosebleeds. It can be said that Tongmo is the most it was wounded miserably, and the corpse would be whipped even if the head was beheaded. Huh. The enemy was killed. Dai Dai Ren seemed to let go of something in her heart, buried the hatred for so many years, and now she finally took revenge with her own hands. Now, even if she died, she still had the face to see her sister. And all this is thanks to Syaruo. Thank you, Dai Dai Ren said to Syaruo. She turned her head and glanced at Syaruo with complicated eyes. Thank you all. Dai Dai Ren is a smart person, she also thought of it. Syaruo did all this for herself, and asked herself to pay for it. By the way, how do you know who my enemy is? When I drank with you for the first time, you said it when you were drunk. Syaruo rubbed her nose and replied. Really? You remembered it at that time. Obviously it was just talking casually after drinking. Syaruo patted Butterfly Ninja's head, and Dai Ninja, who had succeeded in revenge, seemed much gentler. The truth is what you tell after drinking. Maybe you forgot, but I said I would help you at the time, and now I haven't broken my promise. Thanks. Butterfly continued to thank her. She remembered that when she was drinking, she seemed to have said a lot to Syaruo, but she forgot when she was drunk. Unexpectedly, Syaruo still remembered those little things. Thinking of this, Butterfly felt a strange feeling in her heart. The matter of winding up the second string is over. The Wanchi Bliss cult was also burned down by Sioruo and Dai Dai. After dealing with everything, Sioruo and Butterfly Shinobi began to return to the headquarters. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 187. Winding 2 is dead. Before Sioruo joined the ghost killing team, everyone in the ghost killing team knew about the news through the crow. Even because the zoo meeting had just ended, many zoo hadn't left yet, so they were the first to get it. This news. The Shangxian who had not died for 100 years and even been wreaking havoc outside, died too within a month after Sioruo came. This situation cannot be explained by luck alone. He really did it, said Yoyama Yayashiki in the headquarters with emotion. Although he was blind due to illness, he still felt the change after Sioruo came. However, when you killed Shangxian you took Butterfly Ninja to avenge her? After Sioruo went back, she first found Yayashiki and reported the operation and the results of the battle, and then went to see Tanjiro's injury. Tanjiro is now fighting with Xiaoxian Wu, his body has not recovered, and he is still recuperating in Butterfly House, but even Tanjiro, who is sick in bed, knows that Natsuru killed Kamijiro. Mr. Sioruo, you are so powerful that you actually killed 2 upper strings, Tanjiro said, looking at Sioruo with admiration. There was no trace of jealousy or any hurt emotions in Tanjiro's eyes. When he was practicing with Sioruo, he knew that Sioruo's talent far surpassed him. It's just luck, Sioruo said modestly. Are you kidding? I'm lucky enough to kill 2 Shangxians. Shan Yi, who was on the hospital bed beside him, also looked at Sioruo with admiration. He knew the horror of Shangxian better, and he also knew that Sioruo was being modest. This kind of record, it is estimated that the ghost killing team will no longer exist. Mr. Sioruo is really too strong. For some reason, Inashuk was listless and didn't speak. So far so good. Sioruo checked Tanjiro's body afterwards, and found that it will take some time for Tanjiro to recover now, and with the subsequent training, it is estimated that it will take several months to recover. Afterwards, when no one noticed, Sioruo secretly handed over the blood she took from Tong Mo to Tanjiro. Mr. Sioruo, what is this? Tanjiro looked at the thing Sioruo gave him, and asked with some doubts. The blood of the upper string, the 6 and 2 of the upper string, I collected some in the battle, you should need this kind of thing very much, Sioruo said pointedly. Tanjiro knows the ghost doctor Zushi. Zushi is really a very powerful woman, a master of pharmacology beyond the times. She can use the blood of Nezuko and Oni to research the medicine that turns Oni into a human, while Tanjiro is helping Zushi collect Oni's blood. The higher the level of Oni, the faster the progress. Presumably, with the blood of Shangxian the speed of researching the antidote will be faster. The antidote is also useful for Sioruo. With the antidote, Wumi's blood will become a life-saving medicine. Hearing Sioruo's words, Tanjiro was taken aback. He thought that no one would know his secret. However, the Lord had reminded him about Miss Zushi before, so Tanjiro mistakenly thought that Sioruo had also met Miss Zushi. Thank you Mr. Sioruo, this blood is really important to me, Tanjiro nodded to Sioruo in thanks. Well, I'll go first if it's okay, you should have a good rest first. Sioruo left after finishing speaking, but he didn't actually leave, but hid outside the door. After seeing Sioruo gone, Tanjiro summoned the invisible cat that Miss Zushi gave to him, and gave the blood that Sioruo gave to the cat. Please, give these to Miss Tsuyoshi, Tanjiro said to the kitten. Meow. With a meow, the cat disappeared in place. A cat with vampirism can become invisible, which can be regarded as Zushi's means of conveying information. However, after the cat left in stealth, Sioruo quietly followed the cat. Under Sioruo's real eyes, the invisible blood ghost technique is almost useless. Sioruo's movements were very light, and the cat didn't notice it all the way. After about 2 days, Sioruo followed the cat into a wall. The wall is just a blindfold. After passing through the wall, Sioruo found a huge manor in front of him. Is the ghost Dr. Zushi hiding here? After Sioruo broke into the manor, Yashiro, who was sitting in the room watching Miss Zushi's research, suddenly changed his face, as if he had sensed something bad. No, Miss Zushi, my blood ghost technique has been triggered, someone broke in. Huh. Hearing this news, Zushi also frowned. Is it Wumei? Or a swordsman from the ghost killing squad? Yashiro shook his head. I don't know, but I have designed many traps outside. Miss Zushi, you run first, I will come to the back. How can this be? Let's go together. At this moment, the door of their room was pushed open, and at the same time, Sioruo's voice came in. Isn't it too late to leave now? Yashiro's so-called trap can't stop the intruder for a moment. After Sioruo came in, she also saw Zushi. As shown in the animation, Zushi is really a beauty. She has long black hair, parted down the middle, and combed into a large, low bun held in place by a floral barrette. Eyes soft like a pale pink mist, red lips contrasting with a pale complexion, wearing a dark purple kimono decorated with wavy lilac branches and red flowers, and a beige-white obi around her waist. Hearing this voice, Zushi's face remained unchanged. Seeing Sioruo walking in slowly, he said coldly, I don't know how you found this place. At the same time, Zushi also saw Tom on Sioruo's shoulder, and her expression finally became a little dignified. It turned out that it was you, the genius who just appeared in the ghost killing squad, who beheaded and killed 2 stringed Miao pillars. Sioruo. If I remember correctly, my title is Xiaozu, and Miaozu is Tom's title. But it doesn't matter anyway, and Sioruo doesn't care much about titles. Miss Zushi's news is really well informed, but don't worry, I have no hostility towards Miss Zushi. I came here just to hope to cooperate with Miss Zushi. Cooperation, how can I cooperate with the members of the ghost killing team? Zushi looked at Sioruo and asked. When Sioruo had already walked into this room, Zushi knew that he was already a fish at the mercy of others up. A swordsman who can kill Shangxian ghost, even if she uses all means, is no match for this person in front of her. There are a lot of things we can cooperate with. After all, our goal is to be defeated, isn't it? There is absolutely no harm in cooperating with me. Sioruo spread her hands. Miss Zushi, don't listen to this person, said Yashiro beside him, who didn't seem to like Sioruo very much. Zushi thought for a moment. She didn't know if she could walk out of this room alive if she didn't cooperate. After all, Zushi naturally felt a sense of fear in the face of the ghost-killing squad. Moreover, if Wumei can be dealt with, cooperation is nothing. Okay, I can cooperate with you, tell me your conditions. Half an hour later, Sioruo walked out of Zushi's manor. At this moment, there are some test tubes in his hand, and the test tubes are full of blood, which was developed by Zushi himself, and can turn people into ghosts. Unlike Wumei's, the blood produced by Zushi can also turn people into ghosts, but it is much better than Wumei's blood. Even if you don't use it yourself, if you use it for trading or for others to use, it is definitely a priceless treasure. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Jumiao. Chapter 188. After the death of Shangxian Wumei seemed to be afraid of the ghost-killing team's counterattack, and tightened the frequency of ghost dispatches. From the intelligence point of view, it has calmed down a lot recently, and the ghost troubles have decreased a lot. Sioruo roughly estimated the time. It will take at least a few months before the start of the Infinite Train chapter. The ghost-killing team is now much more relaxed. Ghosts are small fish and shrimp, and ordinary players can handle them. So Sioruo went home first. Wumei hid it too well, there was no major incident, and he couldn't be caught. After staying in the world of Demon Slayer, Blade for more than a month, it's only been a little over a week in the real world. After returning home, the family didn't have any special reaction. They just asked Syaruo to come back to cook. I miss Syaruo's cooking. My mother asked Syaruo to bring her girlfriend back to play often, but Syaruo refused. After Tom returned home, he just watched TV and surfed the internet. Tom himself was a lazy cat, and he became even more lazy when he had a computer and mobile phone network. He gradually transformed into a house cat. In the world of Ghost Slayer, Tom couldn't surf the internet and watch TV. Tom was almost suffocated, so he was so bored that he practiced swordsmanship. Syaruo went back to her room and summed up the harvest of Ghost Slayer. With Zushi's blood, he can turn human beings into immortal ghosts, and he also learned the breathing method to make up for the lack of melee combat. After a week or so in the real world, the increase in prestige is not enough to upgrade. Syaruo roughly calculated that it will take more than 2 months to upgrade. In terms of anime, the currently airing Ghost Slayer, Blade has just finished its 19th episode, and it is very hot, and the discussion is also exploding. The animation in this world itself is full of passionate animation, so the animation of Ghost Slayer, Blade was not popular at first, and many even bad-mouthed it, thinking that the rise of animation was exhausted, and began to follow the old path of passionate animation. It wasn't until Shanyi concentrated a little bit that Feng Fengzi began to improve. No matter the plot, the production of that episode was really wonderful, especially the battle scene of the God of Fire Kagura, which directly crushed the animation of the same type. As the best single of the year, the set is enough to qualify. But it's a pity that Syaruo only got 26 episodes of Ghost Slayer, Blade. He remembered that he only had the first season in his previous life. The audience can't see the follow-up. The popularity of Demon Slayer, Blade is so high now, and there is no follow-up. What should I do? It was time to go see a fellow man. Seeing such a high popularity, Syaruo started to upload the compiled colleagues, but this time, Syaruo added some content to the video, explaining her ability. For example, the power of reality and the ability to store space, they are listed, otherwise the thing about chopping ghosts with wooden knives will be complained about. Afterwards, Ghost Slayer uploaded it. This time, Syaruo thought about naming it for a long time, but couldn't think of a good name. Then Syaruo took a look at it as a whole. At first it was Sway, and then it was Ghost of Flower Street. Later, there was no explosive point in the Wanshi Bliss teaching to eliminate ghosts. It was regarded as a normal fan, but in terms of content, it described the winding up that appeared in the follow-up of Ghost Slayer. On the whole, Syaruo thinks Tom is more interesting when he plays, and Miaozu is really strong. In the end, Syaruo changed the title to The Blade of the Miao Pillar. Anyway, it has always been Tom's enthusiasm, so it's okay to rub it again this time. After the video was uploaded, the number of hits began to explode. Now this rising official account is different from the past. It already has millions of followers. Within a few minutes of uploading, the number of hits is tens of thousands. There are still not many fan episodes, there are only 5 episodes in total, because at the beginning, I joined the ghost killing team in one episode and practiced with Mr. Lintaki, because Syaruo practiced very quickly, so there was only one episode, and during the period, there were 2 episodes of Hwaja chapter. Wanshi the killing of children in the Bliss teachings didn't take too much time, there was only 1 episode. Compared with the original work, there are far fewer fans in the 5 episodes. Of course, there is no worldview setting in it, because it is used directly, and it looks short and straightforward. Syaruo looked at the barrage, and Tom was indeed much more popular than herself. When Tom appeared, the barrage was the most. The protagonist of the funny animation is in a bloody manga like Ghost Slayer, and the style of painting is a little different. Normal, but unexpected is also fun. When Tom was learning the sword, the barrage almost occupied the entire screen, and it had only been uploaded for a few minutes. Meow column cow beer. Almighty Tom Cat, swordsman, come on. Swordsman Cat. Tom is beaten without a hitch. Syaruo still hangs out with Tom, let's eat soft food. Looking at these bullet screens, Syaruo was full of black lines. Sure enough, Tom still blew a lot. Not a single black one, really outrageous. Syaruo turned her head and looked at Tom, who was watching short videos with her mobile phone next to her. She felt a little emotional, maybe she would depend on Tom for the rest of her life. Ah ha 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 ha. Tom seemed to have found a funny short video, and couldn't help laughing out loud. Seeing Tom smiling so happily, Syaruo glanced at it, and it seemed that in the video, a stupid cat jumped at the bird on the TV, and then hit the TV. Tom likes to watch these cute pet videos recently. Alas, Tom's fun is really simple. Syaruo continued to watch Ghost Slayer, just waited for a while, and there were more bullet screens later. There are also a lot of bullet screens in the Hwaja chapter. For example, when the Warren appears, many people expect a special plot, but unfortunately, if there is a harmonious plot, this fan will not be able to release it. But Syaruo was very conscious, and blocked the word scumbag when watching the Hwaja chapter, but after reading it again, she found that there was no barrage when she appeared. Later, when Syaruo and Luoji were chatting and drinking, the memory of Shang's Yen ghost appeared unexpectedly, and the rhythm of the fan was similar to that of Ghost Slayer, Blade. The memory killing was quite touching, and a wave of tears was harvested. Then there is Syaruo holding Luoji's head to watch the moon, scattered bullet screens floating here and there. I always feel that there should be more bullet screens. When the screen cuts to Tom, there are more bullet screens. That part of the plot is Butterfly Ninja fights the prostitute Taro, and then loses. When Butterfly Ninja is poisoned, Tom suddenly appears and kills the prostitute Taro with a few knives. To be honest, the battle scenes in this section are very handsome, whether it is the battle between Butterfly Ninja and the prostitute Taro, or the extreme speed spike of Tom Feng's Jitsu, they are all done quite well, and the quality is exactly the same as the normal painting quality of Demon Slayer. Therefore, the plot is thin, and the score can be raised by relying on battles. There is also a very interesting point, that is, there is no BGM when Butterfly Ninja fights normally, but after Tom appears with a knife, the BGM on the field is suddenly replaced by the BGM of Tom and Jerry, which is obviously a serious battle, but after listening to this BGM, I can't be serious at all. There is even a feeling of watching the Ghost Slayer version of Tom and Jerry. The audience also enjoyed watching it. Meow Pillar Hero Save the Beauty. Sure enough, the protagonist of this article is Tom, who deserves to be the blade of Meow Pillar. Give Tom a good review. The combat power of funny animation is the strongest. After that, the animation of Tom fighting the prostitute Taro with a knife, like the battle scene in the episode of Tanjiro Kagami, was edited by many people and put into a short video, which instantly became popular on the internet. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Miao. Chapter 189. Tom's battle was combined with the BGM of Cat and Mouse, and the short video was spread on various platforms. The increased popularity made the popularity of Ghost Slayer fans also increase a lot. Even when Tom was watching the short video, he saw his own video and liked the video. Tom has been following Syaruo for a long time, and it has gradually transformed into a house cat, and he often watches it online, so Tom knows about the anime released by Syaruo and the world he travels through, and even Tom knows that he is a comic character up. Although Tom was a little surprised by the news that he was an anime character, he didn't react very much. After all, the world it and its owner go to is not very normal. Anyway, It still eats, sleeps, and eats every day, which does not affect daily life. I just occasionally go to the comment area of Tom and Jerry to see if there are any of them. Fans. Syaruo also knew about Tom's matter, so she didn't care if he didn't react strongly. Just as Syaruo was looking at the system and calculating the prestige benefits, his cell phone rang suddenly, so Syaruo looked at the caller ID. Mio Akiyama. Syaruo? Can I make phone calls across the world? Syaruo remembered that the last time she received a call from Akiyama Mio was at the soup house. So Syaruo picked up the phone. Hello. Ah, we got through. There was an exclamation from the other side of the phone. It seemed that the call was connected. Akiyama Mio was a little surprised. I thought it would be impossible to get through, so I just tried it casually, but I didn't expect it to get through. Actually, I don't think it should work. Syaruo pondered for a moment. Akiyama Mio couldn't get through before, the only change occurred after the soup house incident. It may be because of the plot of the soup house. The system has given some authority. Anyway, regarding the capabilities of the system, Syaruo has never been clear about what the system can do. That, I'm looking for you this time, Akiyama Mio's voice seemed a little soft. It's about the concert, are you serious? Akiyama Mio confirmed again. Of course it's serious, Syaruo said with certainty, but at this point, Syaruo looked at the date. It seems that there is still more than a month left before the 2 months agreed with Mio Akiyama at that time. After all, I only spent less than 2 weeks in Demon Slayer. That, Akiyama Mio's voice seemed a little nervous. Then the appointed time is coming soon. Is there anything we need to prepare? When are we going to go there? There is also a rehearsal date. We have confirmed some songs. I don't know if I can. Akiyama Mio talked a lot. Syaruo realized that she forgot to prepare for the concert, the venue of the concert, the rehearsal, and so on. When will Ms. Akiyama Mio have time? Syaruo asked on the phone. During the previous appointment, Akiyama Mio seemed to have said that she would have time in 2 months. Well, we can ask for leave in advance. As for the time, Syaruo-jun will be fine, we can go there earlier, Akiyama Mio said softly on the other side of the phone. Okay, in terms of songs, you can choose your own songs created by your light music department. As for the rehearsal time and follow-up arrangements, just wait for my notice. Okay. After that, Syaruo hastily hung up the phone. Since Syaruo hadn't prepared for the concert before, Syaruo forgot to make arrangements in advance, and she was busy traveling through time all the time, so her concept of time was a little fuzzy. However, Syaruo is not nervous at all. Anyway, if there is not enough time, you can modify the time flow rate and slow down the world time flow rate of the light tone girl. Time is not a problem for Syaruo at all. If you have enough time, you don't need this method. After that, Syaruo went directly to her father's company, found her father in the office, and told him about the concert. After hearing Syaruo's words, Xiaogenzi picked up the teacup on the table, took a sip of tea, and looked at his son leisurely. You don't have to worry about the concert. I've already started preparing. Now it's just a matter of publicity. Once you set a time, you can directly promote it. It seems that Syaruo forgot about it, but Xiaogenzi did not. Syaruo also thought about it. Her father probably watched all the fanfic episodes without falling behind, but after learning that the fanfic that she made was watched by her father, Syaruo suddenly felt ashamed, as if the black history of the second disease is the same as being seen by others. Not only that, Xiaogenzi also took a meaningful look at Syaruo. Your mother gave you 2 of the bracelets given by your grandmother. Silence. Syaruo didn't know how to answer this question, so she could only change the subject. How much money did the concert cost? Can I get it now? It's not much money. Xiaogenzi didn't say anything more about the bracelet, and began to talk about the current situation of Rise. Animation is really making money, not just the TV broadcasting rights, but the peripheral income is already amazing, but now there is a lot of money, and I plan to invest in some projects. I recently invested in your sister's game. Playing games? Xiaoruo asked, puzzled. Yes, there is a lot of traffic on Mengzhan now, and your sister is going to find a way to monetize it now, and what she thinks of is to use the number of users of Mozan to introduce game monetization. There is actually nothing wrong with doing this, because Penguin and Station B in the previous life used the number of users to monetize games. But when it comes to making games, I actually have some good ideas. Xiaoruo was wondering if it was time to talk to her sister. Xia Zhenzi looked at Xiaoruo, as if thinking of something. The medicated bath last time felt really good, it is indeed for the gods, it is really effective. I used to feel a little lack of energy after work, but now I work all day and I am still full of energy, and I feel younger. My body feels similar to when I was in my 20s and 30s. The medicinal materials are really tonic, such a good thing. I saved some for your mother, and brought the rest to your grandpa. When Xiaoruo heard her father say this, she smiled, as long as she could make him happy. If you like it, then I will go and get some more in the afternoon. Anyway, there are many soup houses. If you think it is not enough, I will take you to the soup house and take a medicinal bath in the soup house. Forget it, Xia Zhenzi quickly waved his hand, forget about time travel, you just need to bring more medicinal materials. Your grandfather is old after all, so bring him more. Good. After returning home that day, Xiaoruo went to the soup house and brought back a lot of medicinal herbs for the medicinal bath. Anyway, Beilong and Xiaoling are in charge of the soup house now, which is almost in Xiaoruo's hands. Afterwards, on the internet, the live-action concert of King Ian Girl began a large-scale publicity. I can break the dimensional wall. Author, Zhou Zheziwai Jumiao. Chapter 190. Due to time constraints, the publicity for the King Ian concert was almost overwhelming. Especially on the Mo website, the app is directly push and splash screen, and there are promotions in other places. After the promotion, the tickets for the concert have also started to be sold. The venue is a stadium in Tianbei City, which can accommodate 60,000 people. Light Music Girl was broadcast on TV before, and the ratings were extremely high. In addition, this year has just ended, so the popularity has not dissipated at all, and there are quite a lot of fans in China. All the final tickets were sold out on the same day. Many fans from other places came to Tianbei City to watch the concert, and of course most of them were local. However, Mengzhan will conduct a live broadcast of King Ian's concert, so fans who did not get tickets can also watch the concert on the live broadcast of Mengzhan. Many fans who did not buy tickets are very happy about this. Xiaoruo didn't expect the tickets to sell so quickly, and he still underestimated the stickiness of King Ian fans. Or, is it really easy to make money in a dead house? It is estimated that the King Ian girls who will come will not expect that all the tickets for the concert of 60,000 people have been sold out. In the animation Light Sound Girl, the girls' goal is to go to the Japanese Budokan to perform, but until the end, their goal was not realized. This is also a pity. Xiaoruo searched the internet, and the number of people that the Budokan in Japan can accommodate, judging from the data on the internet, seems to be tens of thousands of people at most, but performing at the Tokyo Dome can accommodate hundreds of thousands of people. Although the scale of my concert this time does not reach the Tokyo Dome, it is far beyond the Budokan, and it can be regarded as fulfilling the dreams of the girls. Ding! King Ian's concert, the mission has officially started. Xiaoruo heard the system's notification sound. This task was released a long time ago, but this time, it was reminded again. After that, Xiaoruo was busy preparing for the concert. There are indeed many things to prepare for a concert, such as the theme concept of the concert, lighting and dance, team recruitment, venue, security, approval, and ticket sales. Although Dad has prepared some, Syaruo still needs to confirm some details. In fact, many arrangements have to be discussed with Akiyama Mio and the others, but Syaruo just does what she can handle first, and plans to discuss other unimportant things after the girls come. In the world of light tone girls, within the light tone department. At this moment, all the members of the light music department are sitting together, and the atmosphere among them is a little strangely quiet. Except for Akiyama Mio and Kotobuki, the other members seemed to be in a trance, and they were all in an abnormal state. No one even touched their favorite tea and cake. Just like that, there was a few seconds of sluggishness. The concert is really about to start. I feel like I'm dreaming. Someone wake me up and let me wake up from this dream. There seemed to be circles in Lou's eyes, and he was a little wobbly. Didn't I say it a long time ago? And you all agreed. Why are you all looking surprised now? Akiyama Mio looked at the few friends beside her speechlessly and asked. She really didn't expect that after calling Syaruo-jun today, and then asked her friends to prepare for the concert, she found that they were all stunned. It's like hearing this for the first time. Obviously, when they agreed before, their state was not like this, and they often talked about it before, with a happy expression. Now it's as if they knew about it for the first time. I seem to have some impressions. Yui Hirasawa rubbed his head, and smiled naively. I was so happy to hear the news at the time, and the concert could be held, but after thinking about it, I always felt a little impossible, so I completely forgot about it. Yeah, I also think it's a joke, similar to April Fool's Day, pranks, etc. Syaruo won't bring it up again. Ritsutanaka also raised his hand. Going to a concert abroad is really far away for high school students like us. At that time, I felt very imaginary. Then I saw that Mio-senpai didn't mention it, so I thought I had given up. Nakano Azusa was also a little cautious when speaking. It's hard to imagine adding one of our shows and singing a song to a gala with thousands of people, let alone a concert that belongs exclusively to us. Would you like a cup of tea? Chin Chui didn't seem to doubt the concert, she just smiled and started to make tea. There's nothing wrong with going to Hwagyo for a concert. I think the last trip was pretty good. I want to go again. I bought it earlier. The souvenirs are also loved by family members. But, will anyone come to the concert? Azusa Nakano whispered. She really didn't have confidence. Compared with the senior girls around her, Nakano Azusa is a more practical girl, although she is younger. Although she thinks that she and her seniors play very well, but this kind of excellence is only limited to high school students. Compared with those well-known bands, their band is really a third-rate band, and the style of painting is still girlish. The third rate is a compliment, the 18th rate? I feel that Mr. Syaruo will only lose money. But since you've already agreed, it's not good if you don't go now. And when I first contacted, Syaruo-jun said very seriously, and even mailed me the ticket money. Akiyama Mio said from her school bag he took out an envelope, and took out a wad of Japanese yen from the envelope. Those yen are enough for everyone's round-trip air tickets, and even enough for meals and accommodation. The address on the envelope shows Hwagyo's address, but Syaruo didn't mail the toll. It seems to be the same as last time. It's all a system operation. Hearing Akiyama Mio's words, the other girls looked at each other. It's not that they don't want to go, it's just that they are a little afraid of the concert, afraid that no one will come to see it, and afraid of being ashamed abroad. Out of this mentality, they were a little frustrated when they spoke before. But for Syaruo, they really think that he is a good person. Now that they have agreed, it is really unreasonable to break the contract. Then go, treat it as a trip, and what Mio said is right, we agreed before, Ritsutanaka said suddenly. Okay, anyway, I will be on holiday for a while, and I will definitely go on a trip after the holiday. This time I go to Hwaguo, and I want to bring my worries. She said that the two-dimensional poster I had before was so cute, and she wants one too. I also agree. I bought some tea from Hwaguo last time. It's very good. I'm going to bring more this time, Chin Chuizong also agreed. Seeing that everyone agreed, Akiyama Mayo's expression became better. Since everyone agrees to go, let's rehearse quickly and prepare the songs for the concert. Akiyama Mio took out his notebook, which wrote the songs that the light music department has created all the time. Just practice these songs in order. Wow, do we already have so many original songs? Yui Hirasawa said in disbelief. It's a lot. It will take 2 hours to finish singing. It really needs to be treated as a concert. It feels much more formal than the school festival. Ritsu Tanaka rubbed his chin. Kingian girls seldom practice, and they only rehearse a little bit before the school festival. Even if they are so salty, they will perform unexpectedly well.